As a business owner, how do you get more clients? What's the best platform to market on? And what the heck do you do with Yelp and TikTok? Or should you even be on them? We're going to be covering this and so much more. So I'm joined by my brand manager, Kylie, and Tony, my COO. We actually got a lot of questions from you guys. The other day I posted on Instagram and said, what questions do you guys have about growing a business? And so many of you gave us amazing questions. So we're going to be answering those today. This is going to be so helpful. And to be honest, these are things that we've never talked about before. A lot of them are. So definitely listen up. So Kylie, what questions did our audience give us?
So the first question is from Rachel. She asked, what types of Facebook and Instagram ads work best for estheticians and med spas?
It's funny that you mentioned that because we were actually here in Scottsdale filming an ad with Amanda Banks earlier in her med spa. And so I actually coached her through how to get the right angles and how to just do it. And this was on the iPhone. And the biggest thing I said is, it starts with the hook. People are scrolling through Facebook, they're scrolling through TikTok, and a lot of times people start out the video wrong. They're just like, hi, my name is this, and this is what I do. And people have already kept scrolling. And so you got to have a hook. And the best way I find to do that for like a med spa service, like for cryosculpting or ProCell or whatever, start with an action shot. Action shot plus desired outcome. So today she was doing the service. She said, are you ready for hot girl summer or something like that? Mm-hmm. She was hyping people up for the service. Tony, what do you think?
So I definitely think it's all about the hook, but I also think it's all about making sure that the image you have speaks to your end consumer. So for example, in my studio, our average consumer, our average client's age 55 plus. I do not want to run an ad that shows a beautiful, 30-year-old individual getting her brows done. That just does not relate to my target audience. So I would say it really depends on your area, your target audience, before you can really talk about what kind of ads gonna work best. But to your point, this past weekend, I launched 2 different ads on Friday and today's Monday. And I launched an ad where it was an image ad versus a reactionary, oh my God, my brows look amazing video ad with before and after photos. And believe it or not, I got 16 leads on the image ad and only 2 leads on the video ad. It's wild. So it's really, Yeah,
and that's not to say video ads are bad.
No.
For example, I'll give everybody kind of advanced strategy. And we were talking about this earlier where you can actually run an ad using video views on Facebook or Instagram. And then based on, let's say the video is 2 minutes long, based on who watches it, you can actually retarget them. So let's say you're like, hey, Facebook, everybody who watched at least half my video, they're probably pretty interested, right? Mm-hmm. Now I can retarget them with an ad to get them as a lead. And so there's strategies like that. I know that's a little complex, but it's just something to think about where you definitely want to have good videos and images, especially if you're working with us. I like to have both.
All right, next question from Amanda. What's the best way to position my brand in a saturated market?
Ooh, I love this question because I love a truly saturated market. I'm like weird like that. I love a lot of competition because what I know is when there's a lot of competition around, all I know is I have to get in front of more people than them on a daily basis. And what I know, especially like we're in Scottsdale, Arizona, this is a heavily saturated market out here. But what I know is 95% of the business owners in Scottsdale are not willing to spend any money on paid advertising. What does that mean? That the 5% that are willing to do it are going to take the lion's share. Last year when we opened up our new studio location, Kylie, I looked at my competitors. I found that 90% of them were not running paid ads. And then I looked at our number 1 competitor, which was a big commercialized company. And I kind of looked at I couldn't see exactly how many leads they were getting, but I was able to do my back-end genius stuff. And I figured out that if I just spent $900 a month, I would literally get in front of more people than them every day. And 30 days in, we were cracking, $5,000-$6,000. So
yeah, to me, positioning yourself comes from authority. And so how do you build authority? Educational content. Write this down if you're listening or watching. So many people are not even doing something simple like putting their information on a Google Doc, downloading it as a PDF, and calling it a digital brochure. Now, when somebody wants information, you can literally send that digital brochure, which can have images in it. I recommend having images in it. And now it's like a little PDF pamphlet. What business owner do you know that does that?
None,
It's
really.
That's so easy to do. I can make that in 30 minutes, but that's going to set you up as the authority, as the expert.
For sure.
So the next question from Adele. What are the best marketing strategies for attracting new med spa clients?
I mean, there's a lot of strategies. I would say if you're starting out and you need more clients, Facebook and Instagram that's the no-brainer, because if you go to Google, it requires a few things. It requires a good website. It's a little bit more expensive to reach people, and so I would start with something like social media. Now, I wouldn't do TikTok because I've tried TikTok ads before. Organic TikTok's better. TikTok ads have never worked for me or my clients, and so I stick with what I know works, which is Facebook and Instagram. You can reach thousands of people in your local area for as low as $5 a day, so cheaper than Starbucks.
And I will say with TikTok too, they have a minimum ad spend requirement. You have to spend a minimum of $500 a month to even run ads on the
I
platform.
thought it was $600. It's $20 a day, right?
It's either $500 or $600.
Yeah, I think it's
I know
$600.
that, but there's a barrier to entry there, so not a lot of people can do it. And not only that, Jake, we truly did have a client that had over 1 million TikTok followers. We ran paid traffic for her. She got a lot of clicks. But let's face it, TikTok is entertaining, where Facebook and Instagram are more transactional platforms. People go there more to transact. And I will say this, and for those of you who are watching, you could literally spend $5 a day and get in front of 1,000+ people. What other platform can you do that on besides Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah. And more specifically, I love Facebook Messenger ads or Instagram Messenger ads, because to me, building a business is just building relationships. And so many people think like, oh, I should just run an ad and the person's going to go book on my website. It doesn't work like that. They're doing their research. They need you to answer some questions. You have to build some rapport, especially if you're in a saturated market, because you have lots of competitors. And so what's one way you can stand out? Going back to the other question, you follow up. A lot of business owners that I've reached out to have never followed up with me. And if they just did that, I would have paid them money.
Yep.
Well, I feel like TikTok ads would be good if you had a product.
Yeah.
Like if you were like saying you could, obviously ship a product to them.
Like a low ticket product.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't totally like dismiss TikTok, but like having a service, just because like
maybe
anyone.
like a tweezer.
Yeah, like a tweezer or like a face moisturizer, just like something like that could be good to run ads. But obviously, like I probably wouldn't do a service because, anyone in the world, you might show up on their For You page. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but a product you can buy from anywhere. So that would be a good thing to do. Okay. So next question's from Sam. Should I niche down my services or offer a variety of treatments?
I would say I honestly love to niche down. Because here's the thing, a lot, or I would say majority of beauty business owners get shiny object syndrome. Jake, we see it every day. And with shiny object syndrome, people will think, oh, let me buy this machine or add this modality. And it's just the company's telling me it's going to change my business, right, Kylie? The company's saying that, oh, if I buy XYZ machine, I'm going to get more clients. The fact of the matter is, if you have, let's say you start off with just waxing and facials, if you don't have clients for that, how are you going to get clients for having a whole menu of services?
Yeah.
If you don't know how to sell or market right now, like your one service, how are you going to sell or market the next service? You have to learn the basics first.
Yep.
Okay. The next question is from Stephanie. How do I optimize my website to attract more bookings?
There's a few things. Number one is look at it on a phone, and we call it above the fold. Basically what that means is everything you see before you have to start scrolling. And it sounds simple, but it's crazy how many people will leave a website before they ever scroll. And so whatever comes above the fold when you first open your website, that is the most important part of your website. Make sure that the spacing is good. Make sure you have a good headline that's going to attract people. Make sure you have some kind of image or video, and then some kind of button or call to action right there. You should have everything on the phone right there before you scroll.
Okay. What type of content should I be posting on social media to attract more bookings? From Olivia.
Actually, Kylie, you do all the social media.
Okay, so obviously posting a variety of pictures and videos. I find when I do like social media feedbacks, Facebook is just structured so differently than Instagram. I find there's more flexibility with Instagram on the platform. So, but you have to be careful what you post. Like you can't really post the same kind of picture back to back. You can't post like if you have a side by side before and after, you shouldn't be posting those back to back to back, or posting a graphic back to back to back. You have to, mix it up. A video, a before and after. throw in a picture of yourself. You have to involve yourself in your business because you're the face of the brand, you know? So obviously like those are all good tips on what you should be posting.
It's like you said, if you look like every single other business, then what are people going to look at? They're going to look at the price. And so if you're watching or listening and you get a lot of people who are just asking for the price, it's probably because you're not setting yourself apart from the competition. You're being commoditized. Just like a pair of shoes, I can get it on Amazon, I can get it at a store. There's shoes that are $5, there's shoes that are $5,000. What is the difference? The ones who are $5,000, it's part of a brand. It gives you status. It has authority versus a $5 pair, it's a commodity.
And something I kind of want to point out when it comes to content too, is people like they get so caught up in does it look good, does it not look good. You know, when we were at dinner the other night and we were all looking at, you know, even my Instagram account, I showed you both my Instagram account, and I'll be honest with you, my Instagram account is nothing to write home about, right? But at least I'm posting content out there. So I think when someone asks me like, hey, what kind of post? At anything, just post something. But even in mine, I like you made a great comment about how a lot of my posts are just like Canva graphics and things like that, and it's not really relatable. So I think having a good mix, and I think the kiss of death in posting content is posting before and after, before and after, before and after. Before. That's like the kiss of death.
It's
Like,
so chaotic.
I remember the feedback she gave you was too much text, too many text graphics. And I mean, beauty's a visual service, and so you can't just have text graphics.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I can go on and on about what type of things to post. But yeah, I try and strive for it changes. You know, you hear some people say you should post 2 to 3 times a week, or you should post every day or only 5 times. So I mean, you never know. Just try and post, stay up to date, because if you have someone that's coming look at your page and you haven't posted since 2024, bye. Like,
I did have a client one time that she's like, I'm not getting many bookings. And I go look at her Instagram, and I was like, you literally haven't posted in a year.
Yeah.
Like, you look like you're out of business.
How can someone trust you? Let's just say to put permanent makeup on your face, you know, or give you a facial, like to kind of get a good idea about you from your page to go forth and book a service with you. Straight up.
For sure.
And I'll say one more thing. To me, a beauty service is a social experience. And
it is.
I didn't realize that until during COVID, when you couldn't do that. You couldn't go to your salon and talk about stuff. You couldn't, like, people couldn't go and vent. Like, you know, people who are widows or single, like, sometimes they don't get any other human interaction, but going to get a massage or going to get their hair done, that is their social experience of the week or the month. And when people lost that, it was devastating for mental health. And so you're providing a social experience as a beauty professional, which means you need to show socially who you are. You can't just be a faceless business.
Yeah. And I also think it's like pretty important, like, you form a connection with the person doing the service. So now you get people, you go back, someone compliments, you know, your eyebrows, and you're like, oh, well, you know, Nikki just did it. I love her. She's super chill. Like, you would love her. I recommend. So I think that's why it's so important to.
Yeah, people want to do business with other people, or especially the average consumer looking for getting their hair done or the brows done. They want to find another person to do business with. So if you're watching or listening, you're trying to be too corporate, then and you're having people treat you like crap. They're canceling. They're saying, leave me alone. It's probably because you look like a business versus a person.
Yeah. I don't know if you said this, but camera quality doesn't really matter. Like, almost like, I find the videos that I do with you and the quality's like kind of crappy. They perform better than the ones that have, you know, the nice camera, you know, when I do videos of you with the camera. So you can't make the excuse because you don't have a good camera, because it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's all about, you know, what you're providing in the video.
Well, that TikTok video we posted, it got more views than all the others. It was literally a clip from my webcam, which looked horrible. It was like blurry. And it got the most views in comments. Because it was crazy. The quality of the content, not the quality of the content, not the quality of how it looked. Like, it was good stuff that people resonated with.
So the next question's from Haley. What's the best way to create a high-end client experience?
Ooh, I'll take that one.
I know Tony's gonna like that one.
I love that one. So it all starts from the phone call, the initial phone call, whether you're calling them or they're calling you. It all starts on the 70-30 rule. The 70-30 rule states, you speak 30% of the time as a practitioner and let your client speak 70% of the time. How you position and the questions you ask will dictate the quality of service you have. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say if I ask you a lot of questions about, hey, I notice your skin's a little red, rosacea, things like that, and talk about how long you've been battling with that and really get 7 layers deep with you, you're going to be more apt to book with me because now you just poured a lot into me, right? And then once I book that individual over the phone call the day before, I love to set the tone of the appointment by asking certain things like, hey, just want to confirm your appointment. Also, do you prefer sparkling or still water? Now, just asking that one question truly elevates their expected experience and also alleviates a lot of cancellations, because let's face it, a lot of people cancel their appointments because they just think it's going to be another run-of-the-mill facial or another run-of-the-mill waxing experience. They don't see it as an experience. They see it as a chore, or them just having, like, going to Publix or getting groceries. So making sure you frame the whole pre-appointment experience in a way that, you know, wow, they're asking what kind of water I want. Imagine what they're going to do on the day of my service.
Yeah. So I mean, people associate sparkling water with luxury now.
Yep.
And it doesn't cost that much extra. Like, you can get a can of sparkling water for $1, but you're elevating that experience and the reputation. Just like we went to a nice dinner the other night, they asked if we wanted the darker napkins or the white napkins, and that was cool.
Yeah, it's all about the experience, 100%.
Literally, yeah. Okay. Next is from Nicole. How can I make my med spa stand out from competitors?
Get in front of more clients than they do, period.
Yeah. Kind of said that earlier.
I think Google reviews is a big one. So when we were talking with our 7-figure med spa client here in Scottsdale, she gave, and this is another video you guys should go watch on our YouTube channel, but she gave her exact script of how to get more Google reviews, and not just more reviews, but more descriptive reviews. So that way it really stood out on Google, and she ended up getting more referrals from it too.
Yeah. I liked how she did it. And that's what I kind of tell when I do social media feedbacks for Google businesses. I'm like, you need a QR code, something for them to automatically, you get them before they leave.
Yeah.
Get them to give you a review. Okay. Next one's Victoria. What should my branding, such as logos, colors, aesthetic, convey to attract the right audience?
I mean, everybody has a different set of colors and stuff. I know with us, you've helped me rebrand multiple times. And so I'm almost of the belief that colors don't matter as much, because what did people continue to follow? Me as a person. They followed Jake Randolph. They didn't follow what colors I was representing. But I will say that, you know, if you have too many different colors or like the wrong combos, it can look kind of ugly. You don't want to look ugly. So Kylie, you do all of our social media. You're my brand manager, so why don't you explain more about that?
It took some trial and error, let's just say, because some things that I would think would look good, they're like, no. I'm like, okay, fine. So going back to the drawing board, but I like prefer soft colors. Like, that's just like my thing. And if you're in like the aesthetics, like you want something calm, soothing. So that's why I say like, okay, calm colors, calm aesthetic, like that kind of things. And then of course like logos and stuff, like I probably recommend it being like the type of service you are, maybe. So like obviously if you do lashes, you would maybe have a logo or something dealing with lashes, or even eyebrows, or you know, stuff like that.
I think a big one is don't use too many colors in your graphics. So what do I mean by that? So like a before and after. When you're editing the before and after, have very thin lines, not huge blocks of color. Like,
oh yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, that's don't like that. Stay away from the borders.
Yeah.
But yes.
Sometimes Canva is bad for people
I
because they
know.
get too crazy.
I know. Like they had a field day.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from Erica. Should I be using TikTok or YouTube to market my business?
I mean, I'm always of the opinion, use every platform, because you never know when one's going to change. You never know when one's going to get shut down. And so, for example, recently they had the big TikTok shut down. You know, well, I don't know if that's going to last or not. And if you've put all your attention and time into TikTok and you don't have a good Facebook presence or an Instagram presence, now you're kind of screwed. You're having to start up from zero. And so go ahead and start building a presence on all accounts. And then YouTube, that's the most underutilized platform of any of our clients. Like, I don't think you guys realize, but you can literally post, not you guys, but the people listening, you can literally post your TikTok videos or the same videos you're posting on Instagram Reels, put them on YouTube. Why? Because Google owns YouTube. And without getting too complicated with the AI and everything that's coming, it's kind of already here. ChatGPT, for example, a lot of people are using that as a search engine, or Google is using generative answers. And so when you type in a question on Google, it might not give you a link. It might just give you the answer right there. That is AI. And so where is it looking for those answers? YouTube, Google, and Google owns YouTube. And so where I'm going with that is, as a beauty professional, let's say that you do microblading in San Diego. Well, now you can have a video like best microblading in San Diego. And then so when somebody says, what's the best microblading in San Diego? Google might find your YouTube script and analyze it and say, hey, this business, and this, it's going to refer you long term.
Yeah, that's so good. I think a lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah.
I mean, my personal opinion, if you had to pick one or the other, it would be YouTube. YouTube is by far the second largest search engine in the world. And also, not only that, you know, how you said we're talking about SEO ranking. And the actual fact of the competition in our beauty industry on YouTube is like slim to none right now,
Yeah.
where everybody's on TikTok. But let's face it, where's, as a practitioner or business owner, where's your ideal client hanging out? Are they hanging out really on TikTok, or are they is someone who's going to actually transact on YouTube because they're actually looking into the service?
Yeah.
So
I guess it all depends.
it depends on your client. It depends
Yeah.
on where your client's
But
at.
at the end of the day, just do both. Like
Yeah.
you can literally, the same video you put on TikTok, you can just put on YouTube and it takes an extra 30 seconds.
Yeah,
sure.
You're right. Okay, this is from Lindsay. How can I leverage customer testimonials and reviews for marketing?
So use them in a story format. I mean, yes, you can screenshot your reviews. And here's a tip on your website. Don't just put like the generic, like I know Wix and all these places, they have a testimonial format. I don't like those. Always use organic screenshots of Google ads or Facebook ads for your screenshots on your website. That's just going to look more real. It doesn't look fake. Like when
Yeah.
I see a testimonial from Wix, it just looks fake if they're not screenshots. Yeah, but going back to the reviews, I would say use stories, like whether it's like when you're actually filming stories, or when you're telling a story on video, or when you're just talking to a potential customer. You can be like, yeah, you remind me of, you know, my client Cindy, who she was skeptical about her brows. She was worried it was going to hurt, but she ended up loving them, and now she, you know, has bought all my services. And so use those real testimonials to weave them into your selling.
Okay, this one's from Morgan. What's the best way to rank higher on Google and attract local clients?
Ooh, I love that question, because I actually just launched my book, How to Rank Higher on Google. And so I'll give you some tips out of there. Number one is make sure you have plenty of reviews. I know we've already kind of talked about that, but it's very important. Number two is your Google business profile. Like if you don't have photos on there, if you're not updating your photos monthly, it's going to hurt your rankings. And then along those same lines, we've actually never taught this before, but you can, by the way, guys, we're teaching you stuff we've never taught before. You're learning new stuff. If you know somebody who could use this, please share this video or share this podcast with them. It would mean the world to us. It helps us get more in front of more people. That way we can continue to make content like this. But going back to that tip, when you upload a photo to Google Business Profile, actually create a description. So if somebody's searching, you know, best facials in Memphis, Tennessee, or wherever you're located, type that keyword in that description on your photos when you upload it to Google Business Profile. That's going to help you rank higher.
It's all about being relatable on Google. It's all about how you're matching the image to what someone would traditionally say. You know, using that tactic, when we set up my wife's second Google My Business profile for other location, we were ranking number one within the first 60 days just because everything was relatable. And she only had like 5 reviews at the time. She was outpacing people that had 30, 40, 50 reviews on Facebook. Why? Because the content that we were feeding Google was more relevant and more up to date than everybody else in her area.
Yeah, I think like most times, like when I'm doing Google business audits, some people don't even have their address in there, phone number. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times they're not verified.
Yep.
Almost every single one of them, they're not verified. So,
And you mentioned phone numbers. So here's a big tip. If their phone number is different on their Facebook than it is on their Google, or different on their website, or maybe they moved locations, but they didn't update the address on the website, Google's going to recognize that. They're going to say like, oh, their information doesn't match on their website and it's different on their Google business profile. We're going to crush their rankings because I don't even know if this business is legit.
yeah. And then isn't like the keyword, like the keywords super important? You know, I know you can like put it, it's like you don't want to be too specific about your specific service if you offer other services, because Google kind of recognizes that, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They recognize that that's your only service, so they might, you know, move on to the next person that has, that service. But
Yeah. Kind of along those same lines, if you have a website, make sure you have a different page for every service. So let's say you offer microblading, facials, and lashes. Have a separate page for each service, and that's going to help you rank higher for those services.
this one's from Chelsea. How important is professional photography and videography for my spa?
So I have mixed feelings on this. Do I think everybody needs to hire a professional videographer at least once? Yes. And by the way, if you're strapped for cash, you can trade services. So find a local photographer and do her brows, or give her a facial or 2 facials, in exchange for videography. And she can come in, film an intro video, maybe a studio walkthrough. And I think having something like that you can feature on your website, feature as a pinned post on your Instagram, is really going to help. But take a step back, iPhone videos are great too. For your normal day-to-day content, I don't think you need a professional camera. I think, it looks more organic and looks more relatable when it's actually not professional.
Yeah, I agree. True. I think all you really just need like a ring light and your camera. Set it up.
Yeah, with these new iPhones, I mean, the quality is just incredible.
Yeah.
It's all about here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing of it. If you're struggling right now to grow your business, take action and just take it piece by piece. You're not good at photography, just like me and my wife are not good at photography.
Yeah.
Both of us aren't. But I'm learning it piece by piece by piece and taking it one day at a time. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah. And honestly, the biggest advantage of having the professional videographer that one time is not that they have higher quality cameras. It's that they're there to direct you and to show you how to make it artistically look better. And get you from multiple angles so that you have that one really good video that people can watch, but then the rest of your videos can be selfies or phone videos.
For sure. That's why we're in a professional studio today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can mix everything up.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to post the professional pictures back to back to back or whatever. But
real quick, I just want to go off on a little tangent on that, because so many people that I hear like, well, I don't have the money for this, I don't have the budget for this. Barter services. If there's a will, there's a way. So if you're listening to this and you don't have the money to hire a videographer, barter services. If you don't have the money to hire a virtual assistant, find out how you can pay somebody locally on a commission. There's smarter ways to do things where you can bootstrap a business until you can get the cash flow.
Well, when we were talking, to our client today, she opened up doors and she's now a 7-figure med spa. She started with like hardly anything.
Yeah.
Even her, beds that she said, she's like, I didn't spend a lot of money on them. I just know how to do things the right way.
okay, this one's from Jessica. Should I charge a deposit?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And I think the deposit needs to be just enough to hurt if the person doesn't show up. In our studio, we started out last year, we were just charging $40 to booking deposit. And we had no shows. It happened. And then we were always afraid to go up to charging $100. And we thought it would kill our conversion rates on leads. And what we found was it didn't kill anything at all.
Yeah.
We're still booking the same amount of people. We still have, back in the day, maybe for every 5 bookings, we'd have 2 no-shows. Now it's down to 1 no-show. But then that no-show that does no-show, they will call us and be like, I want my deposit back. I didn't get the service from you. Well, there's a reason why it's a non-refundable booking deposit.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on the difference between deposits or a credit card on file that will be charged based on your policy if they no-show?
I think if you do the credit card on file, even if it's very difficult to say it's authorized, because they typically have to sign something to pre-authorize that transaction. Like, that's very easy for somebody to dispute and get their money back, right?
Right.
Whereas if I fully just go ahead and charge them and it went through and they got a copy of the receipt, I could paper trail all that back to them.
Now, the only thing is, if you are a brand new business owner, you're having trouble getting clients and the deposit's scaring people away, well, you might have to take that risk early on and not have a deposit at first until you build up more reviews, more reputation, and build your business.
Here's a thought though. If it's scaring people away, you're probably not talking about it in the right way. There's a way to ask for the deposit. There's a way to go about it. Because think about it. There's so many successful business owners out there that are getting that deposit. In your market, how are they getting it and you're not? It's probably the way you're explaining the booking deposit and why it's important. To us, we're very open about it and just simply saying, hey, to finalize your booking, we need to take just $100 booking deposit on file that's credited towards the day of your service. Yeah. The reason for this is to alleviate any no-shows or cancellations.
So this one's from Megan. What's the best way to get referrals from existing clients?
ask. I mean, is it if a client's in the chair and let's say I'm giving Jake a facial and Jake's like, dang, this makes me feel amazing. This makes me feel good. Say, hey, Jake, you know what I realize is that a lot of men just like you know other men who are interested in self-care. Do you know of anybody that I could help? While Jake's happy, while Jake's in the moment, and asking him that way.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to ask for the referral when they're in the moment of happiness.
Yeah, that's a great point. Honestly, though, I also love incentivizing referrals, because think about it. If they're going out of their way to share, your stuff, they're taking their time, their energy, they're putting their reputation on the line because they're giving their, your info to friends or family, then incentivize them. Like, hey, who are 3 people that would also like a facial? And for every person that books one, I'm going to give you half off your next facial or half off a facial.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we had one client last summer. She referred us, no lie, 7 permanent makeup clients.
I hope you sent her a Christmas card.
Wow.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think we gave her free services and she was openly. We never even asked her. We were horrible at asking for referrals for a very long time, but now we have it down to the science. So
yeah, and maybe they're thinking, well, Jake, why would I give 50% off a facial? That's just too much money. Really, it's too much money to get a referral in who's going to be a better customer because they were referred, and you can turn that customer into a repeat customer. So to get a little bit of technical, think about the lifetime value of that customer over the next year. And so if they come in every 2 months for a facial and you charge $200 for a facial, that's $1,200 that customer's worth.
Yep.
And so, I'll give half off a facial for a referral.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a trickling effect.
Awesome. That was a lot of information. Hope we helped. Thank you guys for submitting your questions. By the way, if you want more content like this, our ChatGPT guide for free or our Google Business Guide, we have it all in our Beauty Growth community, and that's totally free. So what you're going to do is you just click the description below, and when you join the school community, reach out to me and let me know how I can help you, because I'd love to, give you a free strategy call, or maybe we'll pick some winners and have Kylie do a social media audit for you. And so click that link below, sign up, and then message me once you're in our community. See you then.
See you on the next one.
Awesome.
You were supposed to say, I know, I put it.